Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I see a few of y'all came early. Thank y'all for being here. So I wanted to do a video talking about, do you command the angels now? Um, so I'm gonna wait for a few more people to get in and we're gonna talk about that. So angels or angles, okay, because I think a lot of people don't really understand what angels are. So we're going to talk about angles and angels. Um, so angles or angels are um, angles that light can get in to the planet in order to affect you a certain way, to open up certain things in your mind, and to also help with a lot of uh, ways to understand things. So, do you command the angels now? Now, I know a lot of people work with angels and they ask angels of things and they look at angels as a higher being, and that's fine. That's one way to work with them. And the other way is to command them because you know your true power and who you are. So, and another way is to become them. And another way is to become what commands them. So if you have like my dark energy, how to manifest with dark energy book, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. Um, in an aspect, if you are of a certain frequency, you are able to become all those things, command those things, and be that in which created those things. So if you're on a level of um, your journey where you understand now that you can command um, angels or angles to do whatever you need them to do, then you understand what I'm talking about. So now that you can understand that, a lot of people will have altars and set up things and like that for the angels. And that is when you are in your quote unquote um, phase of being a human where you still don't understand that you can command angels to do your work. Okay. Um, but instead you ask and petition and ask and as if you are lower. So when you reach a certain level, you can't ask them anymore if you have claimed your god or goddesshood or your divinity. You cannot ask anymore. You have to command or do it yourself. Okay. So a lot of people always ask me, well, why don't you work? Do you work with this deity anymore? Do you work with these angels anymore? Da, da, da. Well, at the point I'm at now, I pretty much do it myself. Or if I, choose to, you can command any type of energy to do your will. But I don't really look at it that way anymore. I just basically manifest using, my dark energy method. And it works for me and it bypasses like all of that. But an angel or an angle is an angle of light in which, you're able to get information. That's why they're called messengers. So, when the angle of light changes around the planet, the messages start coming in. That's why in the book of Revelations in the Bible, they always say, when this angel poured out its bowl over the earth, this is what happened. Okay, so they're speaking about um, pouring out messages, information, and things like that as well. So when you read Revelations, it's all about what's going on in the atmosphere, the magnetosphere around the planet, the stars, the planets, and things like that. Venus, how it turns backwards, and how it holds a lot of plasma hostage. And if you are on my Patreon, I did post a post last night explaining Revelation, like a few parts of Revelation, and how it was about Venus and how it has a plasma cloud, that it has a lot of plasma trapped. And now a lot of those plasmas are going free, which plasmas are souls. And also, that's what the song Dirty Diana is about. Diana being Venus and trapping the souls, um, because it does shine like a star, and it's attracting these plasma beings, and they get trapped because of the magnetic pull and how Venus turns in the opposite direction of other planets. So once those are released, once the angle of the earth is released and the heavens transform, and these meteor showers are like coming in, they're also hitting other planets and hitting Venus, which also makes it hotter and burn. And that part's in Revelation. They call Venus the great whore, and who sits y'all have to go and really read my Patreon. But anyway, so now that a lot of those plasmas are released and coming into the planet, and fulfilling a lot of things that are supposed to be fulfilled at this time, helping and giving information, that's something that's going on now. I think a lot of you guys have seen the purple and the red skies, and the aurora borealis head. That's some of the plasma that was coming from that plasma cloud. And so the angels are just the messengers that are pushing in information into the planet right now, because a lot of those veils have been, a lot of those electromagnetic veils have been lifted, and now more energy and information is able to enter into the planet, and you're able to receive them if you are of a certain frequency. So that is what angels and working with angels and work commanding angels. Um, when enough people have the same frequency and feel the same way about something, a collective consciousness, that um, you know, that energy raises up and is information to the certain angelic energies, and also these plasma beings. And so when they get this message, when that phone call comes in, then things are set in motion to start its course. So that's what Revelations is basically about, the heavens and things switching positions, and the 10 horns and the 10 heads on the beast that represents the moons of the moons of Jupiter, excuse me. um, and the horns are the crescent moons. The heads are the full moons. So this is a time in the sky, and the beast represents Saturn. I mean, not Saturn, Jupiter. A beast is like something very big, right? And the 10 horns, um, the 10 crowns are the halos around each moon when the sun rises and it reflects off of them. The seven are, if you research, they have recently discovered that Jupiter now has 10 additional moons. So those are the 10 heads with the 10 crowns, or the 10 kings. Kings represent, in the Revelations, when they talk about the kings will rule for 1 hour or something like that. That means they will be lit up by the sun for 1 hour, and or they will rotate the same way as Jupiter. And then they will, I think the Venus and Jupiter junction, some of those moons are going to crash into Venus and heat it up But all this is in the Bible, and they call her the great whore, and she will be burned, and her flesh will be burned, and then she's a deceiver. Deceiver means she goes in the opposite direction. So Venus goes in the opposite direction. And so when she sits on top of the souls, those are the plasma. And so when she's struck with those moons and that asteroid belt, um, her temperature changes, and when that happens, the magnetosphere around her changes, which releases that plasma. So it's all science. It's all science, astronomy, and spirituality, because it's all the same. But if you're trying to understand revelation, it's think about the stars in the heavens. Keep your eye to the sky. Um, and it all checks out if you go and Google, they say 10 stars disappear from the sky, or 100 stars disappear from the sky. Oh, we just discovered 10 moons on Jupiter. Oh, this is happening. There's a plasma field headed towards the Earth. Oh, it all checks out with everything in Revelation. And they knew that when they wrote it, because obviously they have advanced technology. Um, but they put it in there so that someone that understood, you know, what planets and gods and kings and bodies and things like that would represent. It would represent planets. It would represent something that ruled. What is a rule? A magnetic pull or an orbit. So it would make sense to some people. A lot of people that study science. Mhm. So y'all know I would like watch Neil deGrasse Tyson all the time, so I learned a lot about astronomy. Um, so I did learn a lot about astronomy, and they used to call the planets gods. So a king, god, king, um, rings, crowns, coronas. That's what they would call the rings, or the ring around. Like when you look up at the moon, there's like a ring around it sometimes. So those are the crowns. And so the horns look like this, which are crescent moons. So you just have to use your imagination and picture it, and then look at other things. It's like, oh, that moon looks like a horn. Oh, this, that, that. Um, so then you start to realize, oh, these are planets they're talking about. And then when all the planets are aligned back properly, so are your chakras, because as within, so without. So when Venus shifts and gets hotter and it releases those plasmas or plasma beings from its magnetic pool, it will slow down, or maybe if it's hit even more, it will start to spin in the correct direction eventually, because it used to spin in the other direction. So then your chakras and your energies are also affected. So that will change a lot of, it could reverse the entire system. And that's also in the Kabbalah, or Kabbalah, where you're supposed to make the top like the bottom and the bottom like the top. And you should start your creation from spirituality versus the physical, primitive way. And then your red chakra would be here, which is your root chakra, and your crown chakra will be here, so that you will start everything from spirit into the physical. So when that is reversed, it's going to change a lot of people and how they think, what they do, how they operate on a daily basis. That's how they will start off. And yeah, you are the pyramid, exactly. I think the guy that's always on Ancient Aliens, that old guy that wrote the book Ancient Aliens, he just came out with a video talking about new discoveries from the pyramids and all this, the Great Pyramid. But he's really just putting out code, telling you that you are the pyramid if you can catch it. So, yes, we do control the angles, or the angels now. The weather, the way that the plasma and clouds form and do what they do. Especially if you're conscious of it. If you're very conscious of it, if you try right now, you can kind of, say, okay, well, I want it to be hot tomorrow. I know it's wintertime, but I want to see 80 degrees on my thing. Or I want to see some rain. You don't ask, you say, you know, it needs to rain tomorrow. It's that point now, because now that you understand a lot of things, because this new light or this new angle has shifted and let a lot of information in, it's like you're becoming the person that you forgot you were, or you're becoming the being, I'll say, that you forgot you were. And so now you're getting your confidence back and your knowledge back and your power back, and you understand how it all works, and it's not going to be overnight. It has to come gradually, piece by piece, and then it'll everything will be revealed to you, but it's going to be in pieces. It's kind of like waking up in sections. So um so yes, we do command the angels now. Now, I know a lot of people are new to this channel, and I try to direct you to a beginner channel, or you can just look at my older videos. You can see how I've grown through the years. But I yeah, so that's why I kind of think that if you're a beginner, you need to start with the basics, the absolute basics. Um, so I have these. I used to use these a long time ago. These Archangel Michael cards, and these are oracle cards. And the lady that made these, Doreen Virtue, she stopped making and selling like tarot. She'll only sell like the angel cards or something, or the ones that have to do with like angels and Jesus and all that. So everyone was wondering, well, why? I wonder why she did that. I think maybe somebody told her, or maybe she figured it out, or I don't know. Who knows? But if you look at some of these cards, a lot of them just are, saying like, instead of, the message, it says my prayer. And so this would now be my command, you know, my command um, versus my prayer. So if you take your seat among the gods in the heavens, because there's always that part of your soul that's still above, then you also realize that you are that as well down here, as above, so below. So, hmm so thank you. Um, they won't sell the Ascended Master ones anymore. Y'all know why they won't sell it anymore? Because she figured it out, or somebody didn't told her. Um, Even in Revelations, it talks about the deceiving image. Whoever puts out the deceiving image of a beast. And beast has several meanings. It's not just one meaning in the Bible. There are several. They use one to talk about a planet, a giant planet. They talk one. They use one to talk about a certain type of people. They use another uh, term, beast, to talk about how the actions. Okay, so you have to also understand that. Um, Putting out a false image is deceitful, and is going to be known, and those who have done that are not going to be, let's just say, they're going to be remembered, you know. And though everyone who is in cahoots with a false image, um, to confuse everyone who is, related, or in touch, or has not righted that wrong, is going to be affected, probably a lot more, because these plasmas, or these souls, are very conscious, and they remember, there are memories there. So if you know that's, I think, one of the reasons why that Notre Dame church was burned, because it had a lot of false images in it. And right. So think about that. Hmm. And you said the misuse is 666. Yeah. I was looking at that Tesla multiplication circle, and then some lyrics by Jay-Z came to mind. I'm on a third six, but a devil I'm not. A third six would be 18, which you add 1 plus 8, and that would be 9. 9 ether being. That means you have taken your place on the ninth dimension with the gods. So, he's saying I'm one of the nine. So, you know, those beings or that dimension was revealed to me like years ago, and um, yeah, a nine. Mhm. It also represents spiritual awakening, humanitarianism, and if you realize, like after that, like he started to do a lot of humanitarianism and charity and helping people and coming to people's aids and rescues legally and stuff like that. So if you look up the Tesla multiplication circle, I think that's what it's called. I think it's just called vortex math. You'll understand about the 3, 6, and the 9. And the 3, 6, and the 9 represent the unseen forces that you can't see, such as like sound, um, you know, thought, anything that is a force that you cannot touch but has power are the 3, 6, 9. So if you play music, you can't see sound waves, but it has power, influence, and energy. That would be an example of an unseen force. Um, so that's a good example. So yeah, the importance of 369 is the universal, how the universe creates through the unseen forces, and how you can also use those unseen forces to influence and also create manifestation, thought, music, sound. You can penetrate both sides of the brain at the same time and put a message in there. So those type of things, and then mhm, I'm trying to read some of these. Frequency, your own frequency. Yes, your very own frequency. The way you feel, the way you vibrate can also change other people when they're around you. Gematria. Thank you, Devin. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you. When I say sprinkle, sprinkle, like sprinkling you back with abundance. So thank you. Um, so move in circles. Moving in a circle when you are in the astral realm, you're not in the cosmos yet, you're only in the astral realm. So moving in circles would be within that space as a natural way to move. If you go out of that space, if you're not supposed to be in that space, because angels, are not supposed to be in a certain space, or else, stuff will start to happen. Things will be alarmed, that the Anubis will be alerted. Things will start to change. So if you astral travel and you find yourself flying, yes, you're supposed to go in a circle because that is the natural way that things travel in this realm. Outside of that, beyond the angles, then they travel like the crystalline geometry, sacred geometry. The flower of life starts unfolding, as Terrence Howard would say. So, and I did post that Snoop Dogg holding a box of donut sandwiches made with Beyond Meat. And people kept asking, why is this relevant? Donut Earth, 4D Earth, Beyond Meat, plant based, frequency dog, DOGG, black dog, Anubis. Okay. Y'all gotta understand he represents Anubis in the even he said it on that video with him and Pharrell called California Roll. He's like, my name is Canubis, but he put a K on it. So y'all can check that video out. It's called California Roll by Pharrell and Snoop. Um, okay, you're on phase 4 and you're already controlling your dreams. Very sensual, well thing. No, very surreal. Yeah, that's called lucid dreaming, girl. You got it. That phase 4 will help. Yeah, definitely. Hmm. Hmm. Do you believe that a person should know their moon and rising? If you want to, I mean, to me, is if it's a part of your self discovering and figuring out that you're divine, instead of submitting to forces that you are beyond, great. But it depends on how you use it. Everything can be used in a positive way. A lot of people use astrology to make excuses and to stay a certain way and not grow. And then a lot of people learn it, understand it, and then grow beyond it as if they are, uh, going to choose what they want instead of, okay, you're born under this sign, you're born under that, great, da da da. But you are creators as well. So you have to think about it from two different perspectives, from a divine perspective and then a human perspective. Everyone starts off as the human mind. And if it's important to you, then yes. And then as you grow, it becomes, more like, okay, using it to decode, you know. Will there be another phase? No, there might be, depending on what's to come, because these alchemies are created as the shift occurs into what is needed. So right now we have the sprays that you can use on a daily basis, several times a day, to kind of help your vibration stay high. So those two sprays that where are they? I thought I had them up here. I might have taken them downstairs. Yeah, you'll see. They're on my Etsy. We are co-creator. That's right. In this form, yes. Still, we haven't rejoined. Okay, so angels, they just have one position, one job. They do what they do, and you are able to command them once you have reached your divinity, um, and self-actualization. So they're angles of light, letting in messages to you. Um, so that's pretty much what it is. And Michael, now Michael, Archangel Michael, is always set apart and very different from the other angels. He's the one that commands them. Because how can another angel command another angel? Think about it for 2 seconds. I always say 2 seconds. How can Archangel Michael command an angel? I'll just let that sink in for 2 seconds. Anyway, if y'all know the answer, put it down. Hmm. Hmm. But do they command the other ones? And how can one command? The if you read in the Bible or any religious texts, the only two that can command are God and human. And if humans were created in God's image, and the name Michael means he who is like God, then what is Michael? Hmm. Mikael, me, Ka, my soul, El, divine, my soul divine, human. Michael would be directly related to a human. Okay. So that means if Michael was in human form on the planet Earth, There you go. Just like not one specific person, not one specific person, but several people, because that is a lot of energy to hold in one person. But there would be probably a lot of different versions of that energy. Um, right, correct. So if you ever listen to the MJ song "Cry," the answers are in that set of lyrics. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, okay. So here it says, "You can change the world. You can touch the sky. That's right. Gonna take somebody's help. You're the chosen one. I'm gonna need some kind of sign. If we all cry at the same time tonight." So if we all cry at the same exact time tonight, we need help. We need a frequency change. So when he left, it was very close to the time when a lot of things were going on in the cosmos, and this was the time to do it. He changed the entire frequency of the planet Earth, which lifted one of the veils. It's kind of like the Wall of Jericho thing, the science behind the Wall of Jericho. When they would circle the city wall for like, I don't know, 7 days or whatever, and then they stomped and then the rocks crumbled. It was the vibration and the frequency that lifted that magnetosphere off the planet Earth. So if enough people were on a certain frequency, and it would change the entire magnetosphere around the planet, because we are, the electric energy from that frequency would have pushed it and started, the disruption, I would call it. And that's exactly when it kind of started. So, mhm. But it would take a special person to be able to cause that many people to change their frequency on the same exact day worldwide. And they knew they knew who it would be, and um, it would be someone that the entire world knew. And so, if you plan something like that, you got to make it look as real as possible. Even if it was real or not real, it's the frequency that was involved that was needed. Okay. Um, Purple Rain. Oh yes, that's another good one. Purple Rain by Prince. Okay, so remember when I described how Venus was described in the Bible as the great whore sitting on top of these souls? Well, when the orbit reverses, then so will the poles, and so those plasma souls that are in a purple cloud underneath Venus will be flipped to her top, and they will reign over her. You know, so purple rain. You know, uh, Reign as in king, reign as in energetically. Um, so yeah, the and like I was trying to explain to you, that song "Dirty Diana" by Michael Jackson is also about Venus. Um, you know, she waits at backstage doors after the curtain comes down. Now that's cold. Backstage doors is behind the earth. Venus is behind the earth, right? When the curtain comes down means when you die. When you die and you go out to the atmosphere and the cosmos and stuff, you know, um, you're either going to the sun, you're either going towards Saturn, you're either going towards the wherever you want to go. But Venus is so lit up, and it's because it's reflecting off the sun at night. It looks like a star. It's a deceiver. It's going and it's not spinning the same way as all the other planets. So you don't you're caught up in it like a bug with the bug light. And it's like a version of fame, like, wow, look at that. It's a temptress. And so a lot of the plasma or the souls get caught up in her magnetic pull and get trapped underneath. Due to not having a certain amount of information, knowledge, or following what, or being strong enough to escape it, energetically being strong enough to escape it. So it's all science, it's all astrology, astronomy, it's all spirituality. Everything connects. Hmm. Yep. And a lot of Prince's songs also had, you know, most of his songs, I would say 90% of them had code in it as well and messages. Hmm. To escape it, you need the knowledge, right? Because it gives you directions in a lot of these ancient texts, in a lot of these books. It tells you which way to go south, go east, go north. Um, you know, wait till this happens, don't leave till this time. And, I don't know. It's just, you got to really understand it. But if you know, you will go towards another direction, not the backstage, not behind. You go forward. Um, but now that things are changing in the cosmos, a lot of those souls are now being released. Thank you, Libra. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So beautiful. Thank you, Shiva. Oh, thank you. Um, what somebody asked an NJ question. Hold on, because I can't see every question. Let me see. I'm scroll back up. Okay. A lot of people are asking questions, so I don't see. Um, Shira, you drop more info in your lives than what a lot of other spiritualists drop in their crappy paid online classes live stream. I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The reason I don't do classes because I can't, I don't. It's not structured in my mind. It just comes when it comes, and that's when the time is to put it out. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, this is right on time," or "I was just thinking the same thing," and A, B, C, and D. Um, I can't do courses. I can't. I'm not a teacher in that aspect of a system. Um, I just share what I want to share when I want to share it at the time I want to share it because I can't, sit there and I don't need to make a course because I hate school. So why would I want to teach school? Okay. Um, this is school. Earth is school. This is school right here. The knowledge is school. Life is school. I'm not, I hated school. I hated being tested. I hated courses. I hated lists of stuff to do. I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I think that understanding that also helps free your mind to a certain extent to see things outside of the box. I love everything I see is out of the box. I'm not part of any type of secret society, organization, no group, no school, no nothing. I don't know. I just look and figure it out. But I think it's because I'm not structured. Mhm. Decode the book of numbers. Okay. I'll look into it and I'll see what it's saying. Someone calls you Illuminati. When people start accusing you of being Illuminati, Freemason, Eastern Star agents, it means you're smarter than them. You're too smart. You know too much. How are you learning this? You must work for the, you know, like Jay-Z said in his song, if you shine and you smart, you know stuff. Oh, you must be in the Illuminati, whatever. Okay, whatever. I ain't getting no paycheck from the Illuminati, but if I, you know, Perhaps, people are just waking up and understanding things on a different level. That's all it is. There are going to be so many more people that are going to start getting this information out of nowhere. It's going to be like, wow, I never thought about it like that. Oh, let me look deeper into it. And they're going to start getting knowledge and information, and people are going to start accusing them of being, an agent or in the Illuminati too. So, welcome. I guess this is the Illuminati. When everybody wake up, everybody will be illuminated and on a higher frequency and enlightened. So, um, I mean, when people don't understand things, they label, right? I had some troll talking about I was an agent, and then I say Michael. I don't believe Michael really died. I think he fake is dead, and now I have a shrine or an altar up of him in the back, and da 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 da. I put his picture up there because I cleaned out the other room, and I still had boxes from my other house that I never unpacked. And I found them. And I said, "Ooh, I'm going to put Michael Jackson up there because I'm always talking about MJ. So I'm going to put him up there." Some flowers have been up there forever. It's not a altar. This is all my makeup. Okay. You see that? That says Chanel. That's Givenchy, Prada. Back there is a bunch of makeup palettes. And that little thing right there, uh, a perfume box from Versace, and they all matched and they were black and white. So I put it up there. I have a picture of Sasha here. I have um, an antique box that I bought um, from the 1920s. I have a vast cat statue up there, and then a candle holder that's a moon, and then I have a glitter lava lamp. So that is not any type of altar. If y'all want to see an altar, it's over there. And yes, I have MJ's picture up there because I have so many MJ things now. Look, I have to have somewhere to put them, and I have one up here too. See, because I unpacked an old box. But since that person knows so much and wanted to write a book, I suggested that they copy and paste everything they wrote and go to Amazon and download it as a book and get paid off of it because they wrote entirely too much for free, thinking that I'm scamming you guys and I'm an agent and I'm put here to deceive you and all this kind of stupid stuff. Meanwhile, they're sitting up here taking all their little precious time focusing on me when they could be learning something or researching something. Crazy. But you get some nuts every now and then on YouTube. So it's to be expected, but I thought that I would explain it so that they can calm down and move on. Believe me, if I was an agent, if I was an Illuminati, I'd be paid, super paid. Like, where's my check? Uh-uh. I'm not gonna sit up here for hours at a time telling these people stuff and y'all ain't paying me. I need a company car too. I need a company car. I need me a so yeah. They've been watching these online spiritual channels and they don't know. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. They've been watching these other spiritual channels. I don't know his name, but he talks about people being agents. Oh yeah. Those are the paranoid people. They always like paranoid about everything. So, it's good to be paranoid sometimes, but not about everybody and everything. Then you're just trapped, basically. Um, thank you. So anyway, we have some trolls, but that's okay. Trump, yes, Trump, Trump, Trump. I don't vote, so y'all wasting y'all time. Divine beings don't vote, darling. I guess they want y'all to vote for Trump. I don't know. I don't vote, so I don't know. Hello, Shira. Hope you're well. Don't be offended, but I thought to share the link to my channel for the ladies who are interested in tarot readings. Please think. Da, 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 da. Okay, Tara Diva says if y'all want a tarot reading, go to her because she don't want to be rude and A, B, C, and D. And if y'all still won't have readings done and A, B, C, and D, she over here advertising. Okay. Am I a prepper? Food, water, ammo. I'm not really a prepper. I'm a mother, and mothers are naturally preppers anyway. Okay, so hence the giant purses and abundance of everything, just in case of an emergency. Especially if you live in like a place where there's hurricanes all the time, that's like a natural thing to do. So we always have extra stuff stocked up because we live like where a lot of hurricanes hit. So but I'm not an extreme crazy prepper like on TV because a lot of those people take, you know, profit and things to come literally when it's cosmically, cosmically. When they said, oh, there's going to be famine and drought, they're not talking about food. Okay. Famine is the famine of knowledge. It's going to be withheld from a lot of people. But also, it's also going to be given to a lot of people, the knowledge. So the famine is of knowledge. The drought, the drought would be of the the souls. The drought would represent, there's going to be a lack of new souls coming into the planet through certain people. So that's going to be a drought of births. That means a decrease. And so if you know how to read and interpret certain things, then you're not trying to prep up and go live in the woods. Okay, because it's all metaphor. It's all metaphor. And right. Why do you think Enoch was taken out of the Bible? Because it would scare a lot of people and it would make people turn around and do the right thing. And they don't want that to be done. So they took it out. It was too easy to decode. I'll say that. Um, because it used a lot of the same terms over and over and over and over so that you would finally realize it was talking about something else and it would be easier to decode. And I think they took it out because it was too empowering to a lot of people, and they took it out because it's not something that um, would be good for people you were trying to control. So they took it out because it would not allow them to control as much as they could without it in there. Okay. And so when I read it the first time, I didn't understand it because I wasn't on that level of thinking yet. I picked it up again and I understood it perfectly. And it kept revealing itself over and over. And I understand why they took it out now. Yeah. My title says Angle and Angel. Yes, because they're the same thing. Angle of light allows certain information to get in. Angel is the same thing. It is a personified, uh, energetic version of the messages that come in depending on the angle of light. And then it talks about, like in the Bible, how you know, it talks about something coming in as a bride to her groom or something like that. Well, how does a bride look when she's walking to her groom? She's in a veil. So the veil and the angle of light determines what messages get into the planet, what energies get into the planet, how much radiation gets into the planet, how much frequency of the sun's energy gets into the planet. So when it's coming to you like a bride, the veil has been lifted. What happens when a bride comes to you? Whoosh, they lift their veil. So that represents the lifting of that veil, the magnetosphere, and letting all the stuff flow in and getting you all this new information, and also a marriage between you and the cosmos. Okay, there. hmm And right, like New World Order, they make it seem scary and bad so that you don't understand it. New World Order just means everything is going to change. It's going to be in a different order than it used to be. You know, everything is not going to remain the same. Everything is going to change. It doesn't mean you're going to have some people ruling over you, because that's the fear factor of it. You're going to rule over yourself. You know, you're not going to need to go and vote. You're not going to need to care what people say, because you understand universal law, and you understand that you have power to say what happens and what doesn't happen. So you're not going to need a ruler. Okay. You're not going to look for one either, because you don't need one. Who needs a ruler? I don't. I live every day of my life without anybody telling me what to do, and I'm good. You know. Now, that's why when the information and knowledge comes in, and the chakras are, you know, different. I'm just going to say different. Your mind will become different. You're not going to want to do the stupid stuff that you would probably want to do if there were no police officers and rulers and stuff. You're not going to want to do it, because everything that comes out of you is going to be from your higher mind versus your lower. It will be a struggle to do wrong, just like the way that your chakra system is based now. You have to fight against your lower self. Now you're going to have to fight, against your higher self. So think about that. Everything you want to be doing wrong, you're going to be wanting to do right instead. So you won't need to be governed, because you will be self-governed. It will be a struggle to do something wrong. You'll be like, "Ugh, I just can't do it. I just can't speed over the limit because I understand what could happen." Stuff like that. So it's gonna be that way. It's gonna be like, oh, I just can't do that because it just feels so wrong. I feel so guilty. You know, so I'm just gonna do what's correct. You know, oh, I can't go cheat. I can't go cheat on my wife. Oh, that's terrible. Why would I ever do that? Okay. Oh, I cannot lay down with this man who definitely can't take care of children or is ready for a family. He doesn't. No, we can't do that. We must be married, and you must be able to provide, baby. And people's minds will get right, because their chakras are then corrected, you know? So that's what's really gonna be going on during this shift, the polar shift, this pole and this pole. Okay. Mhm. As within, so without, as above, so below. So when everything starts to shift, you're going to start to see, you're going to walk around as if you are divine. You have to uphold your body and yourself as a divine being. Oh, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to do that. You know, it doesn't mean you're going to be a very nice, cordial, sweet doormat. It means that you're going to enforce those, type of um, beliefs upon yourself and maybe whoever you're raising. But a lot of these children, that are being born today, they're already kind of there. They're really smart, and they understand a lot of things. hmm hmm Right. You ready for the shift? Me too. But the shift doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen. That is the catch. It don't just happen. You got to get up and say something. You got to get up and be an example. You have to get up and teach stuff. You have to get up and show the way. You have to get up and do something and teach other people what's going on. It's not just going to, someone's fingers are going to snap and everybody's chakras are going to shift. It takes a shift of mental, physical, and spiritual. An awakening is the shift. People have to awaken to the knowledge, let it sink in, really learn it, think about it, understand it, and for this to occur. So it takes work, but it's going to be easier because the information that's coming in now that the veils have been lifted are going to help you move along a lot faster. Okay. Also, ideas for prosperity are going to be coming in through the messages. You're going to learn how to, do what you want to do and, be and have a lot of prosperity as well if that's what you're seeking. You Whatever message that you are wanting to receive, seek it. Ask, you know, ask yourself, what message do I want to receive today? Okay. Today, I want to receive information that will lead to me becoming uh, very prosperous. You don't ask, you don't beg, you command. When I say, do you command the angels? Do you command the angels? Do you command the messengers? Yes, you do. So command those messages to come to you, whether it's in dream form, vision form, idea form, um, any form, but the message has to be received. And that's how these angels and angels work for you at this time. So, um, command, remember command, because if you ask, they don't have to do nothing if you're not, if like, why are you asking me? You're above me. Like, why? It's like the teacher asking the student for the answer. Ain't you supposed to be the teacher? you know so remember your position and what you claim before you work with any lower level, and I'm not saying they're lower level means bad, but before you work with anything that you are supposed to be over, remember that. Don't ask, command. Do y'all remember the story of Solomon? Command. He commanded the those energies. He commanded this, he commanded that, with a ring. What is a ring? A halo. What is a halo? A crown. A crown of what? Knowledge. From the sun. Remember the corona? The corona from the sun, from an angle of light, a messenger. So understand that this energy coming in is also information, and how you choose to get the information, how you choose to manifest it coming to you, how you choose to command it to come to you, is how your life will go. So understand that. I want, let's see, I want to learn about something today. I want more mysteries and knowledge to unfold to me. I was saying that in the car as I was driving home yesterday. And as soon as I got home, I got online, I started reading something, and I was like, this sounds like the planets. And I started decoding Revelations. Just, I don't even have a Bible like available that I would even pick up. It's like somewhere else. And then you could find everything online now. So I was just like, wait a minute, this means that, and knowledge came. It kept coming. And I was outside. It was still light outside. So it was getting light. But that's another thing. You got to go outside. I don't care if you're in your car, roll down the window and do what you got to do. Um, Speak. Your voice is one of those unseen forces. The throat chakra is very, very important because it's an unseen force that commands. So speak it, think it, and speak it, and then vibrate it. Okay. That means be it. Okay. Um, I'm not teaching about sun gazing right now because I've tried to tell y'all in several videos it is not the time to be sun gazing. Y'all can go blind if you want to. Your eyes are on your entire body. Okay. If you are melanated, you don't need to sun gaze. These are your eyes. Okay. This is how light enters you. So that's another thing. People are sitting there looking at the sun, getting cataracts and going blind. These are your eyes, your light, your shining. They call your skin the shining. A shining, 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 shining. Shining. These are your lights. These are your eyes. You have one third eye in the middle of your brain, which is also full of melanin, and that is your mind's eye. So if you are melanated, you don't have to sun gaze. You, your eyes are all over your body. You can sunbathe, but you don't have to sun gaze. You can go out there naked, which I don't suggest unless you have a private estate. But they got Google Earth now, so ain't nothing private. But get your thong or whatever and swimsuit or go out there and sunbathe to get your info. You don't need to look at it. Now people were saying sun gaze, yeah, because a lot of people that don't have melanin, if they do have brown eyes, that is a form of uh, melanin, and that would be one of the possible ways. But I would not suggest doing that with this new sun without the protective veil over it because you will go blind. Okay. But this new age stuff, and y'all keep looking back at the old stuff. Everything is new again, and you have to look at it from a different way now because it's not the same information anymore. It's not the same frequency anymore. It's not the same veiled sun anymore. It's very different now. So you can't do those same things anymore, or else it ain't gonna work out. So um, just understand, not everything you read in a book from like 20 years ago, that's not going to be relevant for today because we have shifted into the fourth dimension and it's no longer the same type of light. Okay. Thank you, Devin. Is it possible that Trump can be symbolism to one of the trumpets in the Bible? An unseen force? Yeah, an unseen hand, a trump card, a trickster will play any suit. Yeah, that's what he is. That's why there's two versions of Trump, and I did a video on that. They're two separate people. One wears a mask, and those good silicone masks that they use in Hollywood. I call him Travel Trump. He wears the blue tie. Travel Trump is younger than the regular Trump, and he has on a silicone mask. And he wears the blue tie, and he is Travel Trump. They'll send him to China to go campaign because the other Trump with the red tie, he don't like going out in different places and stuff. So he's in Travel Trump. Travel Trump is younger. He has way more energy. Just watch. And his ears aren't as wrinkled. So just pay attention. His face looks slightly fatter because he's wearing a mask. Um, I have a whole video on it, like with screenshots and things and voiceover. Y'all can go check it out if y'all hadn't seen it. But thank you guys for watching. I am going to wrap this video up. I hope y'all got some information. I hope y'all do y'all's research. Don't ever take what I say as true. Go research it yourself because part of learning is coming upon the knowledge and understanding it from within your perspective. Thank you, Devin. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So it's possible to fake his death yeah, it's very possible. A lot of people fake their death. So it's very easy these days. So just Yeah, one of the trumpets, one of the unseen forces. Unseen force can work through a seen force. So, for example, how I always say the government is run by the same force, um, but they're divided to create confusion. But in the end, everything works in your favor. So, right, that's what it is. Mhm. So I gotta go, but thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see y'all later. If y'all like this video, thumbs it up. If y'all are new and just stopping by, subscribe so y'all can see me again. And if y'all been here since day one, thank you. I appreciate it. And everybody who donated, thank you so much. If you couldn't donate, just hit the like button. That's good enough for me. I don't really need the donations, so I'm very thankful for them. And they all go, just a lot of people ask, they all go into savings and probably will be my children's money one day because I don't really spend it. So you're helping some children in the future. Thank you guys. I'll see y'all later. Bye.